moment. Yes, it's Blowers, all right. You recognize me? I'm in my Peter Christian nightshirt. And my Peter Christian nightcap, too. And the candle, well, that's so I can find my way up to bed and down again in the morning, in these dark winter mornings. Just have a look at the Peter Christian website. You'll see all these wonderful coloured garments. I mean, this is absolutely splendid, isn't it? For Christmas, for birthdays, for anything. And I think I shall have to give it a try out tonight. I'll let you know in the morning how I get on. So keep getting your orders into Peter Christian and they'll come back to you with a suitable discount. Now we must go on with cricket, but first I'm going to live up to my name of Blowers. There we are. Now, cricket is going to go on in the mouth of this Ashes series. And straight away, next Sunday on the 18th, the England side, the England ODI side, are flying out to Sri Lanka, captained, of course, by Harry Brook, the naughty boy from New Zealand, where he was fined, always been very extensively fined, 30,000 smackers for having that physical altercation with the bouncer outside the nightclub in Wellington. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. And so there is a report at Lord's, which the ECB are producing, looking into what happened exactly off the field on the Ashes tour. And this is going to hang very much over Brooks' head. There are going to be a number of other players who are playing in Australia as well. And, of course, and this is very important, the coach and manager, Brendan McCullum, who was in charge in Australia, and he is now and has been for more than a year in charge of England's white ball cricket too. This was a mistake. Robert Key got that badly wrong. It's too much to load one man with everything, and I think Robert Key must have really realised that now. But McCullum's future is very much at stake. Will he survive this report the ECB are doing? Will he go on as England manager? I have great doubts. In fact, personally, I think his time should have come. Mind you, it won't be that upsetting for him, because he's going to net something like £1 million as a payout, because he's still got a couple of years on his contract with the ECB. He's still got a couple of years to run. So he's what you might call, in a sense, laughing all the way to the bank. Anyway, let's have a look now at the England players as they left Australia. One of the great disappointments of the tour was the complete inability of the openers, Crawley and Duckett, to put on any sort of an opening partnership. We never got a 50 opening partnership throughout the entire series. My own feeling is that Duckett must go. Duckett didn't score more. I think he got one score of 40, didn't he, in the series? And he dropped a number of really quite straightforward catches and was very dilatory in the field. Crawley, you may say, has not really prospered. He hasn't. But Crawley, he scored that 189, didn't he, against Australia at Old Trafford in 2023. That was a wonderful innings, only 100 since against Zimbabwe. But Crawley is a very good catcher in the slips, and I think, would keep him to make sure that we don't have two new openers going out to bat when England next play Test cricket this coming summer against the West Indies and Sri Lanka. So I personally would keep Crawley. Obviously, Bethel comes in at number 3. I mean, he got that fantastic 154 in Sydney. He's not going to get that every time. Of course he isn't. He's going to fail. He's going to have his share of failures. But he can do it. We saw he can do it in spades. And he's going to be there for a very long time. Joe Root, of course, he's still there at number 4. And he had a goodish series. I won't say goodish. It was goodish. He hit 200s, but between those 200s, it wasn't good. He got out for a lot of those scores. He never really came to grips with the Australian quicks. He had great trouble with Boland, whose accuracy was one of the main reasons for the success of the Australian attack. Boland at fast medium, and then, of course, Stark. And Root they found the edge of his bat repeatedly. And I think Joe Root's got a bit of working out to do with his method. I think it did let him down. He seemed to be, to me, a little bit in two minds, but he's such a good player that he can put that right. I know he can because he knows how to do it. Then there's Harry Brook, isn't there, coming in number 5. There must be a question mark about him as a captain because of that performance in New Zealand with the bouncer. But he's got to learn, hasn't he? He's got to learn to be careful with bouncers. The bouncers down under can be dangerous, certainly in New Zealand, as he's found. He has got to learn to discipline his natural instincts. He has an amazing talent. Oh my goodness, my nightcap's falling off. Can't have that. Brook has got to learn to discipline his talent. He's a wonderful player. But he didn't score 100 in Australia. He hasn't scored 100 against the Australians at any time in his career. He's only 26. He's got plenty of time, but he's got to learn. And so then, of course, Stokes. Stokes' bowling was wonderful when he's fit and able to, and it was marvellous that he was fit and able to until the penultimate day of the series in Sydney when he had that groin injury. But I mean, his bowling is going to be still a crucial part of England's attack if his body allows him. Then my hat falling off again. Oh my goodness. His batting went to pieces, didn't it? He simply couldn't tackle the left arm over angle of delivery of Stark. He's got to think a lot about that. He opened himself up. Did he open himself up too much? He was forever being nicked off, wasn't he? Caught in the slips or behind the wicket. He's got work to do with his batting, but Stokes is a mighty determined character. He changed tack during the series, didn't he? He started with Bazball and then very quickly started to play old-fashioned cricket. And I'm afraid Bazball as such must have gone. But the influence of Bazball can be there part of the time as long as it is blended with discipline and common sense. Then we come to Jamie Smith behind the stumps, who had a bad series, didn't he? He didn't, that catch of head, do you remember at Brisbane, the second test match, early on, he dropped a very straightforward catch. And his batting, he only made 160, I think that was Adelaide, which showed the Smith that we know. And that awful stroke he played, the worst stroke ever, which will hang over him like an albatross did over the Ancient Mariner. And that was in the last test in Sydney, a shot that was almost equalled by Will Jacks a little later, but we'll come to that in a moment. So I think Jamie Smith has got to be dropped. What would I do? I would bring back Ben Foakes. I know he's had his time in the England side. He kept wicket brilliantly. I've heard that he's not popular in the dressing room. Come on, grow up, get on with it. It doesn't matter that we're all big boys these days. If someone is a little bit different, get used to it. But don't have him out of the dressing room, which I think could be what has happened. Anyway, I'm going to take this off because it's falling around all over the place. Now you can see my head. And you haven't seen my head for a long time, so I've always had, haven't I, the smoking cap on. Anyway, I would bring back Foakes, who, mind you, Foakes did score 100 in Sri Lanka in his first test match. He's a very able batter. Then after that, Will Jacks. Will Jacks came in because Bashir, the off-spinner, was in no sort of form in the little practice that he had, and Jacks bowled occasional off-breaks, and he came in for Brisbane and hung on to his place. But really, I think probably his test career is over now. He caught an amazing catch to send back Steve Smith in Brisbane, dropped a sitter on the boundary off Smith, funnily enough, in the Sydney test, and then played the most hideous stroke in England's second innings, when he had a great slog at his second ball from off-spinner Bo Webster and holed out on the deep square leg boundary. That was a shameful stroke, and at the Oval with Surrey, they're going to have to think about that, aren't they? We had not only Smith of Surrey, but Jacks of Surrey too, playing awful strokes. Then we come to Bryden Cast. Bryden Cast is a really good workhorse. He bowled his heart out. He didn't bowl very well. He finds it difficult to find the right length. I don't know why that is, but he was short of bowling. Lack of preparation, that was another factor, of course, in McCullum, but we're not dealing with McCullum's lapses at the moment. And but Cast took 22 wickets, averaging just over 30, and he did a great job working. He made one or two quite useful scores too. And then by the end, Josh Tongue had come into it and shown that he should have been there earlier. He bowls that one which is further over than the perpendicular. That was the one that causes Steve Smith problems. And even though he got 138, was it, or 9 in the Sydney Test, Josh Tongue got him in the end at the start of the last day. So there we are. It was a well bowled Josh Tongue. He'll be in the side for a bit. And Jofra Archer didn't bowl much, had to go home after 3 tests, but he did show when he was there that he is worth persevering with. Give him another good go. But we've got to get Archer so that he can bowl properly and for a reasonable length. And then I think he will be in the side without any doubt. But with the injury problems hanging over him, he's always a big if, I'm afraid. Of the others, I think Pope's time has come and gone. He has played a lot of test matches now, 60 odd, and he never really settled into it. And under pressure, it doesn't really quite work for him. Wood was a risk too far. He should never have gone to Australia. He went back after bowling just 11 overs in the Perth Test, and I'm afraid we won't hear of him again. And Atkinson, yes, we will hear of Atkinson. I think he was a bit unlucky. He bowled quite well, then pulled a hamstring, didn't he? At the end, had to go home. But he is a good bowler. I don't know what it is about him, why he doesn't take rather more wickets. Maybe he's a bit plainer than I think. But I thought he did bowl well and was a little bit unlucky. And then, of course, we had that sad appearance from Potts, didn't we, in the last Test match, when he bowled 25 overs and went for 141 and didn't get a wicket. Well, I'm afraid it may be the end of his Test career too. There we are. It can be a cruel game, cricket, and there is no more cruel occasion than a tour of Australia. I will be on tomorrow having a look at the Australian side and then having a look all through this week at the prospects for the one-day sides in India and eventually in India and Sri Lanka for the T20 World Cup. And I may even be wearing my sleeping cap. And so, Peter Christian sleeping cap, keep on having a look at that wonderful website of theirs. Keep your orders coming in, and lots and lots and lots of the wonderful gentleman's smoking cap have I know been bought by all you lovely viewers. See if you can catch it up with my lovely sleeping cap.